All right. Hello. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome, Nathan. We're just gonna call you Mediocre. Is that okay, my friend?
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Okay. That's because I mean, honestly, that's how you know in the community. I think I would feel more comfortable calling you by by Mediocre if you don't mind. So let's just do it that. So I got a list of questions for you here. So let's just kind of dig right into it.
Sure.
The number one burning question I have is, do you know Mark Cuban, the famous owner of the Dallas Mavericks?
Do I know him personally, or do I see him walking around every once in a while, or in the halls at the at the arena where we play basketball? I mean, uh, I've been with the Mavs about since 2013, so I've met him and done shoots with him a handful of times. So yes, but if you asked him the same question, he wouldn't know me. So if that makes sense.
Next time I go on Shark Tank, I'll be sure to ask him, man. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, Mediocre CEO Mark. He's been on my podcast once, you know.
Right. Don't drop that. He won't know.
Just walking down the hallway and dab him up. Hey, Mark. Hey, and doing the good old.
Do you have any funny stories about him, man, or anything? Any weird interactions or awkward interactions?
I mean, let's see. I'm trying to figure out stuff that I can actually talk about.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Let's go for there too, for sure.
But no, I mean, other than your the standard stuff. I mean, again, he lives and breathes Dallas Mavericks and Mavs gaming. So again, he fights for us, and again, we wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for him. So, again, just one thing I will say, I think all the training on Shark Tank makes him one of the best people I've ever seen in front of the camera. Like that guy, he doesn't even need a script or anything. You just tell him what you need and he walks out there and he nails it. Again, you just feel like you're in the presence of somebody special when you're in the room with him. So again, so yeah, I nothing crazy, but yeah.
Oh, that's really cool, man. That's really cool. Well, this is actually a good transition to this next question. Tell us a little bit about your job and what you do for the Dallas Mavericks Esports division.
Yeah, so I'm the creative director for Mavs Gaming. Basically, I started back in 2013 as the motion graphics designer, senior editor, creative producer for the Dallas Mavericks basketball side. I did that for a handful of seasons. I left, went to the Cowboys for a little bit, and then the Mavs actually pulled me back to be a part and basically run the esports division that they had partaken in. So basically, we are one of 23 NBA teams, well, 22 NBA teams, one China team in the NBA 2K League. We're in our third season.
Wow.
For wrapping up our third season this Friday. But basically...
Isn't Mavs Gaming and the Mavericks both in the playoffs right now? Isn't that the craziest thing that's going on right now?
Well, it was until we got knocked out last week.
Oh, so. Dang.
Yeah.
Sore spot, sorry.
We don't have salt in the wound, but it's cool. It's whatever. But we roll with it. Again, it was a unique thing. So just so you guys know, it will probably never happen again because of COVID and the NBA being delayed. That's the reason our seasons overlapped. Usually our seasons offset. So basketball NBA usually ends around June 1st-ish, first week of June. Well, we start kind of mid to late April. And then we go till early August. So we kind of offset the NBA schedule. So but yeah, no, I mean, it's cool. We run with 6 players. I mean, shout outs to that I can give to Mavs Gaming. I mean, we got the first ever draft pick in the NBA 2K League. So we have Dimes on our squad. He's basically the LeBron James of NBA 2K League. The guy can squash anybody he goes up against. So yeah, I mean, and we have a handful of other strong players. Sherm, PP Ballin. PP Ballin is like a double machine. He's our center. And Mo and Sleety's this season. So yeah, and Spartan. Can't forget Spartan. Spartan was an amazing 4 spot. So yeah.
So we're gonna come back. We have a couple questions about the team. It's more specifically here in a minute, but I wanna focus on you for a minute. How did you get started in the industry, and what is your basically you went over a little bit of your history, but how did you really get started? What really got you into this? Because I know a lot of people are thinking, man, I can do motion graphics. How do I get into something like this? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So really, I mean, I don't know how far to take it back. I'll just take it back briefly to, so I've been a skateboarder for 26 years. I live and breathe skateboarding. I actually wouldn't be anywhere in life if it wasn't for skateboarding. So I actually went to school because I wanted to do graphic design and design the bottom of skateboards and like do all the amazing artwork that eventually gets scratched off when you're sliding handrails and shit.
It's all right. It's all right. You get 4 of those.
and then as I was going through my graphic design degree, I realized I didn't want to design logos the rest of my life. So I actually switched over to learn film and motion graphics. And then ultimately, when a position at the Dallas Mavericks popped up, I applied. And I mean, if there's anything I could ever say to people is always swing for the fences. You never know what's going to happen. So I actually saw a video position open up. I reached out to a couple people that were, friends of friends and kind of, I kind of got my way in to have an interview. And then next thing you know, editing skateboard videos, editing basketball footage, editing football footage, or editing esports footage, it's the same flow. It's you understand the flow of everything and how things need to be compiled and everything. So so that ultimately led to me landing a job at the Dallas Mavericks. And so I basically just applied my skateboard nerd self to basketball footage, and then next thing you know, I'm editing hype videos the same way I'd edit skate videos. So that's how I did it.
It sounds like just everything else in life, just practice and grinding. Pretty much.
Of course, just practice and grind. Please, everybody in the chat, stick to your guns. Stick to your guns, please. Like if something you really want to do in life, please just put the work in. Don't be like, I'm a month deep, I need help, I'm not getting any viewers. You'll be fine. Trust me. He just said he skateboarded for like 20 plus years. And then started making videos. All right, you guys will get there. Just keep that grind strong. You'll make it.
Keep it up.
So Jarhead nailed it though. Like sometimes I think we could be our own worst enemy. And again, I can't reiterate enough. Like swing for the fences. Believe in yourself. Go for it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You're just gonna stay where you're at anyway, right? Don't be your own worst enemy and count yourself out before you even get the shot to do it. So yeah.
Heck yeah, I love it. I love it.
Going. That's my thing, man. I mean, the failure is a part of success. You have to fail in order to succeed in your life. You're never gonna just
things don't just go perfectly.
Things will never just go perfectly. People try to map out their life and try to be like, okay, I'm gonna do this and map everything out, and then all of a sudden they hit one roadblock and they're like, oh no.
And they're like, oh, this is over. I can't do it.
Yeah, this is over. I can't do it. It's you have to keep pushing. If you love something, if you have a passion for something, strive for that thing and just keep pushing, because eventually your mindset can be your best friend, but also your worst enemy.
Or your worst enemy.
Exactly, because you could have a drive, you could have a goal for something, but you have a lot of the critics outside and the critics inside. They can always tell you, don't do this or don't do that, and you can listen to it, or you can tell them, no, screw y'all, I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I can make it.
Good advice, man. Awesome. All right, let's keep this rolling. So you already told us the league's been around about 3 years, correct?
Yeah.
But
correct.
how did the NBA decide to get involved with 2K? Do you know much about that and how that came into fruition?
I mean, basically, I think they were just looking for esports was just growing. You had League, you had Overwatch, and all that kind of stuff. So I think 2K was kind of looking for it. It had a lot of player-owned and operated leagues like WR or MPBA, which MPBA, shout out to my coach LT. He created MPBA with OG King Kurt out of Brooklyn, who's the coach of Brooklyn Nets as well. So basically there were all these like junior leagues that were happening, and it almost took the junior leagues to realize that there was an audience. And so it just seemed like a natural fit when the NBA got the opportunity to join the league and create something from scratch. And so that's why we're still in the infancy of it.
Is there any other leagues like MLS or anything that's doing the same thing you are, or is it just, are you guys kind of the pioneers of this?
We're definitely we're pioneering it. I think, don't get me wrong. I mean, Complexity, which is Jerry Jones's esports team, a part of the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, they have Madden pros and stuff like that, but nothing is directly tied to the NFL or MLB or anything like that yet. Yeah.
Do you think that this is going to lead to that, to those ties? That eventually NFL is going to look at this and go, "Hey, this is a great idea."
Yeah, I mean, given the current climate and COVID, we were the only thing. I mean, So one thing that really happened during all of this, and again, silver lining. By no means am I like hyped about this, but we were the only sport that could still happen. Like during COVID, everybody was trying to figure out a bubble and where to play.
I could talk about that for an hour if I wanted to, about how the NBA is running their league right now. It's insane. But keep going. Sorry.
It's incredible, and right. Yeah, but it took a while. But what's incredible about esports and gaming is we were almost ready to go. We just had to shift, and everybody just played remotely. So just so you guys know, we actually fly to in pre-COVID, we flew to New York City every week for our games.
What?
Yeah, every week. Flew to New York. Everybody competed in Brooklyn or Long Island, and we basically every team flying from Boston, Golden State, we'd all meet in Brooklyn, and then we'd all compete on the stage there. And then we fly home, practice, 2 to 3 to 4 days later, flying back to New York, compete, rinse and repeat for an entire season. So, it's insane. It really is. It's exhausting on not only but not only on the players, but the people that are a part of it. So myself included, and flying to New York and leaving my wife and family is pretty exhausting. But knowing that you're a part of something bigger and that they're going to figure it out. So anyway, COVID actually allowed us to actually compete virtually. So our season didn't slow down at all. If anything, we landed ESPN2 our entire season, and viewership just shot through the roof. So we were on television, Twitch, YouTube, and YouTube Live, and so it was completely incredible. So,
that's awesome. Insane.
It's good when you can find those little silver linings in such a terrible situation that's going on right now. So it's nice that it seems like that you got that highlight when you needed it in your league, especially in your junior year when you need things to start growing, So it makes sense that, some digital league like this would basically just become a big thing when there's no sports on TV. You know what I mean? Exactly. They're desperate. These channels are desperate for sports. So it's awesome that you guys got that opportunity and that chance. So let's go to the next question. So is this league a player on player thing, or is it like 5 players on a team against 5 players against a team? Like how's the league work exactly?
So NBA 2K League, to put it in a nutshell, it's 5v5 with a 6th man sitting idle. So whether something happens or whatever. So we basically have a 6th man, but it's 5v5 on the stage, and basically, their NBA 2K, the game company, builds what's called a league build, and everyone's like a base 90, and they're all kind of the most dominant builds in the league. Okay. And basically, it's similar to COD, how it's like you have the basic weapons and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It's the same scenario where there's certain builds, base 90s. And all that kind of stuff. So there's no one at a level 99 that's just straight.
I get what you're saying. So like everybody runs the same attachment, same tactical, same lethals kind of thing. If you're talking about like Call of Duty style, they run it the same way. Yeah, okay, I get you.
Yep.
Do the centers though, like, are the centers taller? Are the guards like better at shooting threes? Better at defense, or like the forwards better at shooting threes? Like, do they have things like that? Can they disperse their points, or is it just like everyone has the same build and does what they need to do?
Yeah, there's pre-built archetypes. So if you're picking a shooting guard, you have a certain list of options within shooting guard or point guard or center. So, again, you could be a center glass cleaner or rim protector, so on and so on. And then, so based on whatever position you play or that you grew up playing, you're going to gravitate towards that. Or let's be honest, you were drafted to an NBA team to play that position. So it's your job to kind of master those options that are within your field.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. So so you touched on this too a little bit earlier, but I'm just going to ask, who's the best player on your Dallas Mavs Esports?
Ooh, that's a bait question. I mean,
we're gonna call you out right now. I hope they're all watching too.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, I mean, we had Sherm who had a breakout year. Sometimes, and you guys can all relate, we're all gamers here, right? So when a new version of the game comes out, there's a new meta. So somebody who was the best on 2K19 might all of a sudden got nerfed in 2K20 for some reason. So again, it fluctuates. But what's amazing about our guys is they're the best at the best of the game, so they're able to adapt. So again, it's kind of it's a hard question to answer because they fluctuate, but they're still at an elite level, if that makes sense. So it
makes sense. Someone else clutches up every time, or somebody else pulls in when they need to pull up, or et cetera, et cetera. Maybe somebody doesn't have as good of a game last game, but they have a better game next game. It's that everybody fluctuates as a gamer, so that's easy to understand for sure.
That was an amazing way to avoid that question. I really like it.
Yeah, right.
So I gotta give it to Dave. That was a great bait question, though. I'll give it that. When I heard that, head, I was like,
honestly, is it a bait question though? Because if you say who's the best, then you better hope that the other people start pulling up. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure I'm the best next podcast. You know what I'm saying? I want my name to be said.
Yeah, but I was thinking.
I do have a story to tell real quick, and I'm gonna shout out the guy Dimes. Dimes is obviously he is one of the best in the league. Again, he was the first person in our league to get a personal sponsorship by HyperX. So he actually has one of his animated characters where his dreadlocks come to life and a ball forms in his hand and everything like that. In fact, he was supposed to, on our first week in New York, he had a Times Square ad that was going to be in Manhattan that was like 3 buildings tall, you know what I mean? So again, the guy is on another level. But the story I have to tell is we actually have a gaming facility in Dallas. So the old Dallas Mavericks office, they moved across town, and then they turned their old building into our gaming facility. So we actually host tournaments. That's where the team practices. That's where we're housed an office out of. And so again, before season 2, we had a little mini tournament for all the local 2K people to show up and compete and really showcase their talent in front of the coach, in front of Dimes and everything like that. So I'll never forget, room full of 2K players, right? Dimes, or basically there's this guy, he swept his way to the championship and won the championship of the tournament. And it was 1v1, it wasn't 5v5 or anything like that. And I'll never forget, Coach walked over to Dimes and he was like, hey, it's kind of like a bonus thing. Are you down to play him? And, Dimes kind of has a reputation to keep. He could have said, nah, like that's why Coach asked him on the DL, like, are you down to play him, just for the audience that's in here? And again, this guy beat everybody in the room. Dimes played him and smoked him by 40 points.
Jeez,
so that just shows like the level that the NBA 2K League players are at. So I think there's a common misconception when you're smoking people in the park or you're beating up on your buddies and stuff like that. There is a different level, and I think knowing that, it gives the community more, a stronger chance to strive towards that and really try to, if you want to be the best, you have to play the best. And that's what our league is. It's the best of the best that play the game. So anyway.
Awesome. Yeah. Emphasizes the fact that they're called pro.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's understandable though. There's definitely different brackets when it comes to play. I mean, that's in every competitive game ever. You got the noobs of the noobs who just walked in the door. You got the every week player, casual player. Then you got the above average who thinks he's a god, then gets into like a really high ranked lobby and gets absolutely swept. Then you got the people above that ranked lobby who sweep the ranked players. I mean, you never know really. It's always a bigger fish. Qui-Gon.
Yeah, there's
episode 1.
Always a bigger fish. Always a bigger fish.
Oh my gosh! All right, so I'm gonna make this. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, when I was competing in Call of Duty Esports, before I left at that, I was in that rank of, man, I'm hot shit. I'm like, I'm hot. I'm really hot in here, man. I'm a pro. And then you have some people, I get into like a really, really high rank lobby and start playing some champions who are actually like up there in the pro levels or who are like actually recruited by teams. and you just get demolished, and it just makes you feel like, dang, I really thought I was one of these boys. Like, I guess I'm just clapped back down to my regular level.
You gotta take that and you gotta make yourself better. You know
that is a good opportunity though, because it's hard to see where the ceiling is if you've never played against somebody who is way above you. So that is definitely a good experience whenever you get that chance. Run with that chance, because it is very hard to bust through the ceiling if you think you're at the top and then meet that person who is definitely above you. It's not kind of, it is definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So real quick, I just have a couple more questions. We probably should wrap this up pretty soon, but so this is an interesting question. It's actually brought to me by Donkey. You and him have been talking back and forth.
Sure.
Shout out to Mystic Donkey holding down the chat. So the My players are not going to transfer from current gen to next gen, to what I understand. You know what? You already answered this question. So basically, like, are you guys going to be playing the current gen version or the next gen version of 2K when it obviously you're wrapping it up on the current gen, but next season, are you going to the next gen and just upgrading your technology, or what's your plan for that?
Yeah, so basically, in a nutshell, we never stop grinding the game. So as soon as that game drops, we all play it, and we all get copies, and we all just start grinding PS4. I mean, again, this is just a unique year where all of a sudden this game drops in like 2 months later on Black Friday or whatever, the new gen drops with the new game. So it's going to be an awkward transition. This happens once every,
Whoa. Did you just announce the date for the new gens coming down?
Or am I wrong? Are we not getting them? I guess I don't know if we're getting them on Black Friday or not. I was assuming
we made that assumption on a previous podcast as well. So it's
really? Oh, okay.
We got the Illuminati conspiracy theory going on in our third episode.
We got leaked.
It got leaked, everyone here first.
There you go. Streamers unite.
You heard part of the job though. Go ahead and
No. Again, we're gonna grind it no matter what. From what I understand, again, don't quote me on this, but I've heard whispers that our combine and everything that the community has to do to try and enter the NBA 2K League will be played on PS4 Gen, only because the combine starts pretty early in December, and so the system will have just dropped. There's going to be hiccups and updates that need to happen. So I think to iron all that out, I believe
stay on all reliable first, and then move out into the. That's understandable.
Exactly.
For sure.
Is that going to have implications onto the next season? Then, are you going to roll with the PS4, Xbox One into the next season, or do you think you're going to try and make that transition after that point?
You heard it from Dave here first. I don't know. Well,
okay.
That's a question for the league. Again, I think it's uncharted waters at this point, because we just don't know what those bugs of PS5 matchmaking is going to be. All that kind of stuff.
So between the Xbox and the PlayStation is going to make a difference too, with that haptic feedback. That's probably going to have huge implications on how you play the game, as far as like how it feels and stuff. So.
Well, and to be honest, we actually don't play on consoles on stage anyway. They're all loaded up on Alienware. So you hook up your SCUF controller or whatever. And we play, again, we play a custom league build and game that is not available to the public, but it's as close to, again, it's a level 90. It's not available to the public yet. There actually, again, there's talks of it being a mode within the game, similar to the recent Call of Duty update, where you can actually in multiplayer you can load in the Call of Duty League games, CDL or whatever builds, and so I think they're talking about doing that for 2K as well. But again,
cool. Very cool.
People have mentioned it. I don't have any facts on that yet. So
okay. And then we'll just wrap it up with this question. Then I'm going to open it up to the three of them to ask a couple questions.
Sure.
Have you played the new 2K demo yet? 2K21?
No. I did not download it. I watched enough troll videos yesterday to realize it's just 2K20 2.0 apparently. So I figure I played enough of that this past season. So I'm waiting until just the game drops, to be honest. Yeah.
No, that's definitely understandable for sure.
But I said this when we were talking earlier. I actually don't play 2K. Like, I mean, I play it. I know enough of the game, but it's kind of like bringing work home with you if you still play the game, like when you go home. I mean, again, I live and breathe that game every day of my life, so it's almost
nice
like
to disconnect, of course.
Yeah. So that's why
if you're on your phone or your PC all day, the last thing you want to do is go home and be on your phone and your PC all day at home. Understandable.
Sure. Exactly. So that's why if you hop in my stream, it's usually Dead by Daylight, Fall Guys, Call of Duty, something like that.
Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, it's always listen. That's another good piece of advice for anybody in the chat. If you grind your game, that's fine. But if you never take a break, you will burn yourself out. You will start losing to the dumbest, littlest mistakes that you think that you will never make because you're so burned out on the same tactics over and over. Take a break, play another game, come back, see what's up, see what's changed, practice your aim. If you're having a bad night, please get off. Do not throw something. For the love of God, we have enough clips on YouTube.
Controller.
Yes,
those are expensive.
I wish I could see you were wrong.
Mediocre.
To put that in perspective, I was just going to say, so I helped a lot of, during COVID, I helped a lot of NBA players like Seth Curry, Justin Jackson on the Dallas Mavericks basketball team get their stream set up. And they're the same way. The last thing they want to play is a virtual version of the actual game that they play. So like Justin Jackson and Seth Curry both kill it at Call of Duty. I mean, like they are Call of Duty fiends. So, so yeah, again, just what Jarhead said. I mean, you almost need that break. So
yeah, you definitely. It's nice to cool off. I mean, you're still practicing hand-eye coordination without risking burnout on the game. So that's. I mean, you're definitely fine. You're not, flaunting your skills too much unless it's. Unless you really need to play to keep up. But I figure at a pro level, you're pretty comfortable once you understand and have established your skill level. You can afford breaks. It's not the end of the world.
Exactly.
So true. So Nerdy, what do you have any questions that you want to ask real quick? Anything you want to ask Mediocre?
Oh man, I gotta go first. Oh, I was hoping I would get a chance to think. It's all good. No, don't worry about it. I guess one of my biggest things would be it'd probably be a more general question for mostly people at home or viewing in the chat or whatever. If you were to, it's gonna be a real broad question. So if you have a broad answer, it's fine. But what would be like the quick one or two things that you would say if you wanted to pursue a career in this kind of thing, like in esports sense, or like trying to reach for a pro level? What kind of level of things do you think somebody would need to approach from the ground to start moving up?
I mean, from a ground up scenario, I mean, again, just grind the game. Surround yourself with people that are like-minded as you. I mean, again, I think at some point you have to, and it's hard to do, but check your friends at the door. If they don't share that same level of commitment to the game that you're grinding, and this goes across multiple fields, whether it's skateboarding or it's basketball or what, if you're pursuing something that, intently, then you need to surround yourself by people that share that passion. So again, there's communities out there, there's other Discords, there's certainly an audience and people that are just like you, that are looking for teammates just like you. So again, if I had any advice is to, and again, it's back to kind of what Jarhead and what we were talking about earlier, it's when you play against that ranked and then that above rank, you have
the person you thought you weren't as good at. Yeah. You thought you were the best. And that better person. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it's going to happen. You're going to get knocked off the top or you know what I mean? You're going to get your balloon deflated. So, but the only way you get better is by challenging the best of the best so you can hang with the best of the best. If you want to be a face of the league or a face in esports, you have to challenge the best, the people that are the face of that esports. I mean, again, we didn't really dive into it, but that's actually what my gamer tag means, is with MediocreCEO. Again, it's this state of being average, and because the minute you think you're the best at something, there's nowhere to go but down. So if you just stay in this mindset that there's always room to grow and thrive and something to climb for, that's kind of what it's all about.
That'll keep your drive going. That'll keep you motivated. It also prevents your burnout, or helps prevent your burnout, because you don't think, well, I guess I have nothing else to do because I'm already here.
Yeah.
I understand that for
Stay humble.
Exactly.
All right, yes. we got to keep this going. So, Sins, you got a question for him?
Actually, yeah, just something that I wasn't fully aware of. Whenever they're doing the pro tournaments and everything like that, do they have to play as characters that are like, actual players in the NBA, or do they play as my player?
Yeah, that's actually a common question. They play as their own my player. So it's, they might have blue hair or a mohawk or whatever of builds that you can kind of deck out. But it's funny you touched on that. There's actually a rule right now that we're hoping to get lifted, and we haven't even touched on this either. But there's a players union and a cross promotional guidelines. We cannot use any player in the NBA to promote our 2K League teams as of right now.
Oh, wow.
So we can't
even
have
sign a deal or something with the player for the face of it or something like that.
We're working on it. Like, let's put it this way. It's even a somewhat of a violation for us to show the cover of our own game because that's an active player in the NBA. We're stuck just showing the Legends edition. So last year it was Dwayne Wade. This year it's Kobe, of course. So it's not intentional. It's just the meeting to get some of those revisions fixed hasn't happened yet. And it's a scheduled meeting. So it's kind of like they set things in stone for a certain amount of years. So it's not like, hey, we created this 2K League. Can we revisit this negotiation? It's like, no, we revisit that in a handful of years. So again, we can't show NBA players. We can only show my players and custom builds and stuff like that.
Cool.
That makes sense.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, Underdog, you got anything?
I love you. No.
Oh my God.
Good question to yourself.
So, is there any job openings? No, I'm just
Underdog's got all the questions, man. He's coming in hot with the.
I'll say this right now. As this league grows, yes. Due to COVID, no.
Of course.
It's been tough. I'm grateful that I work for an organization that has floated us through all of this. Nobody was furloughed or laid off. If anything, Mark Cuban supported us through all of this. He led by example. There was a handful of things where he stepped in and was a kind of the face of rebuilding and helping out. And so I wish. Again. I get the internship question. I get all of that. I wish I need help, but COVID has prevented a little bit of that and the growth of each individual team, unfortunately. So yeah.
But it's a foot in the door. You guys are doing obviously some great work here, and other leagues might look at this like we mentioned earlier with the NFL possibly taking a look at something like this, and it just growing into more traditional avenues rather than just being stuck in the single gaming category of fantasy worlds or Call of Duty, etc. So regardless, the situation is still a positive one for everybody, no matter which way you split it, which Correct. It's definitely a treat. Yeah.
Correct. And real quick shout out to Underdogs. I wouldn't even be in Streamers Community Unite if it wasn't for Underdogs, because my boy Ikebon 3000 is a big fan of the Cowboys and that hat that he's rocking right there. So again, big shout out to Underdogs.
And then dude, I just want to let's just wrap this up. I just want to give you a huge thank you for spending more time than you should have just hanging out with us, answering our questions, letting us know about the 2K League, how it works, how to just be a better person and reach for your goals, man. I think that this is very awesome, you coming by. You really made our first ever interview on Streamers Unite a real success, and I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, man. Thank you so much. So thanks for being here.
I'm glad. Thank you for having me again. I'm in the Discord with you guys. I'm right there with you guys. So again, I'm happy to be a part of this community and help you guys out in whatever way I can.
Of course, sometimes it is better.
Shout out.
Sorry,
I was just going to say, no. We just gave your Twitch a shout out. So if you want to give him a follow, talk more with him on a personal level, ask him any questions you want on his own Twitch, please feel free. Give him that follow, give him some love. You are affiliated, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so yeah, just give him some biddies. For God's sake.
All the biddies.
Maybe you'll catch me with him sometime playing some DBD. I don't know. I'm playing tonight, so if you wanna hook up, just let me know. Or
let's do it
in the game, not hook up. Anyways,
Always gonna make things so awkward, Dave. Jesus.
I am the king of awkward, man. Let's go. So
He's
all right,
blushing.
thank you so
Don't
much.
look at him.
I know, right? I'm bright red. So thank you so much, and let's just move on to our next topic, everybody. Woo!
Thanks guys.
Thanks, Mediocre.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
See you later,
Good
buddy.
talking to you, man.